Hi guys, welcome back to the VandenBussche video series. My name is Colin MacLellan. I'm the Golf Territory Manager for Northern and Central Ontario. Now in this video, we're going to be putting Eagle Rotor back together. So we're going to be putting the solenoid back on, the Prs Assembly, the bottom valve, and the internal back into the rotor. We're going to start with the Rainbird Solenoid. Putting on the Rainbird Solenoid, what I like to do first off is just fit it in, turn it to the left a little bit, and just find the groove, and you should be able to just spin that guy right on. And when you're done spinning it on, try not to over tighten the solenoid. What you want to do is when you come, make sure that it's snug. And Rainbird has cleverly designed this so that the wires are both pointed down and away and towards that sprinkler, so that when you're digging around the edges, you're not going to cut the wires. Along with that note, when you're tying up your connection, make sure you wrap up that wire with the connection, and you can put some electrical tape on the outside and just put that right underneath the Prs Assembly. By doing that, number one, you'll always know where the wires are, and number two, if you ever have to service it for whatever reason, you'll just have to open up a little section and the wires should be right there for easy access. Now when we're going to install the Prs Assembly, when you put the Prs Assembly back in the top of the sprinkler, you want to make sure that that indicator nub is placed by the auto position. There we go. So that when we put it back on, it'll screw itself into the on position. So as soon as you get that going a little bit, you just tighten it down. And after you're done tightening it down, you want to make sure again that it's snug, it's not over tight. You just grab your selector tool, because after turning it, it's going to push itself into the on position. You want to make sure that you go back on and just turn that to the auto position. Now we're going to grab our valve insertion tool for a 700 series rotor, and we're going to install the bottom valve. The first thing you want to do with your valve insertion tool is you want to put your snap rings in there first. You want to make sure that the nub ends are facing down. So we put those guys in there. You also want to make sure that the hooks that your pliers grab are on opposite sides of each other. And again, that's just for safety reasons, so that you're not pulling out both of those snap rings at the same time. Now when you put that valve in, you'll see a hardened black section there. So what you want to do, there is a bigger half pipe section of this green on this green valve insertion tool. You're going to want to put that solid black section on that big half pipe section, and you just press that valve down. You're going to notice too that there's a probe on the outside of that valve. That probe will always be facing that Prs Assembly, that selector knob. There's also a mark on the side of the sprinklers for you to guide yourself. And if you look on the inside, you'll see that there's an opening for that probe to fit in at the bottom of the sprinkler. So there's also guides along the bottom of along the inside of the sides of the sprinkler. When you place that bottom valve in, you want to give it a hard press, turn it around, and then when you look down, you'll notice that those white clips are under the black brackets that hold it in place. Now we want to put our internal assembly back in the rotor, and it's very simple. All you need to do is line up your left-hand stop. I'm going to pull down the sprinkler, just make sure that it's at a left-hand stop. And whenever you're adjusting the top of the sprinkler, you want to make sure that you pull that spring down. And you want to make sure that you pull that spring down, because if you turn the top of the head, the top of the turret with the spring up, the spring might actually put that left stop back out of place. So whenever you're adjusting your head, make sure that you pull that spring down. So we've got it in the left-hand stop position. There was an indicator line here. That's to the right. The way that I'm looking at it, to the Prs Assembly. You want to line up the arc arrow with that line, or wherever your left-hand stop is. Insert the internal, and we just put the snap ring on top. And that's it. Putting a internal assembly back together, a bottom valve, a Prs Assembly, and a solenoid back on a electric valve and head Eagle series rotor. thank you guys so much for watching the video. There will be links at the bottom to some troubleshooting kits and some Eagle rotor information, as well as all of our information, all of our contact information. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact us. Again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the course.